reason, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm 32 years old and I have multiple sclerosis, or MS. If you were to meet me, however, you would probably never know it. Most people would say I'm a very energetic, active, optimistic individual. I've been asked a lot more recently how I do it, how I've managed my health for so many years. So today I really just want to share what I've learned and what I've done in terms of lifestyle factors, in terms of nutritional aspects, and in terms of natural health supplements for myself that has really improved my health and managed my MS completely. About 14 years ago, I started my education and career in business, and I worked in that field for many years, but on the side I studied nutrition and fitness. So today I've actually worked full-time in the nutrition and fitness field. I own a Nutrition House store in Brantford, Ontario, and I'm a nutrition wellness specialist and personal trainer. So my story with MS. 11 years ago, while I was at university, I had a major attack. I basically lost functionality of the right side of my body. I couldn't use my right arm, my right leg, my face was drooping. It was obviously very scary at that age, and it was actually diagnosed at the time as a stroke because I only had one lesion in my brain at that time. The doctors couldn't explain why someone of my age, I was 21 at the time, with no common risk factors, why I would have had a stroke, and they couldn't confirm whether or not I would physically recover completely. However, I believed that I would recover. I had relentless determination, support of friends and family, nutritious lifestyle, nutritious diet, physiotherapy, and within 2 months, I had fully recovered. About a year later, I had some tingling and numbness on the left side, but not a full attack again. So during this time, I started to study everything I possibly could learn from a nutrition and lifestyle perspective to prevent another stroke from reoccurring. So I began my research. I worked with some nutritionists and naturopaths and other health professionals, and really I guess what I really realized initially was that there is an immense amount of information out there and a lot of different opinions. So I basically pulled together the information to what works for me and implemented that in my life. And I still, to this day, follow most of those same guidelines, even for my current condition. I wanted to share this information with friends and family because I started to realize how great I was feeling. So I quickly became known as kind of being passionate about health and fitness. 3 years after the major attack, I was at my annual MRI appointment, and the doctors at that time said, "Nicole, we now can see multiple lesions on your brain scan, and you have multiple sclerosis." It was not an MS attack, it was not a stroke that you had, it was actually an MS attack. And apparently, this can be misdiagnosed because at the time I only had one lesion. And it was, when I found out I had MS, of course, it's a bit of a shock. I didn't know a lot about it. I didn't know what to expect. I started to concern of the worst. It is typically a degenerative disease that affects the brain. It can cause a lot of physical disabilities. It can cause vision and a lot of other things. So it's definitely a concern, but I decided, and this is one thing I will want to talk about, is that I was going to focus on health. And I didn't want to do the pharmaceuticals. That was my personal opinion, personal decision, but I decided not to do the pharmaceutical route for prevention. So I went and really wanted to study the nutrition and natural health aspects. So now I'm 11 years later since the first attack. My doctors are just very impressed. My neurologist that I see every year is surprised by how well I am, and actually says that hopefully I will never have another attack because I'm really managing it well, and I want to share all those tips and suggestions with you today. For myself, I really would like to focus on health rather than fear. When you are diagnosed with any kind of disease or condition, or even if you're not, fear can really overtake you. What if I can't walk? What if I'm in a wheelchair? What if I lose my vision? There's a lot of fear of what the possibilities are, but I really believe that focusing on health, believing that you deserve to be healthy, and really kind of taking an action plan to follow that healthy path, but focusing on that mindset has really made a big difference in my life. So I've got a lot of aspects of my life that are stressful. Most people do. I wouldn't begin to suggest that we should try to eliminate all stress from our lives, because that's not realistic. But it is important to be able to manage the stress and to really have a different view on stress as well. Because stress can sometimes be good. It can make us work harder and achieve new things and grow and develop. So it's just a matter of managing, the type and the amount of stress. There's a lot of things, the whole topic on its own. But for me, I have taken some natural herbal stress remedies, and I do often do that route as well. But even just, talking to people, creating an action plan, saying no to things if you don't have the time to do it, yoga, meditation, prayer, having a nice bath or something. There's a lot of different natural stress relief tactics that you can try to implement in your life. And stress does have a correlation with a potential MS attack, so it is important to really try to manage that. It actually has really a physiological impact. So it's not just that it's in your mind. When your body feels a lot of that stress, it affects your adrenal glands, it affects your thyroid, it affects your cortisol levels, and all those hormonal imbalances can really have a detrimental impact on your health. So it's not just in your head. It really is important to try to manage how you perceive and how you deal with stress. And don't stress about being stressed. That's another one. Getting adequate sleep, I think, is very important, and I've been blessed to get good sleep overall, but a lot of people don't. So it is important to try to implement some natural options. So you can take some natural herbal remedies. You can just make sure you're not looking at light too late at night, because it affects your natural melatonin. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but it is important to allow that time overnight for your body to recover, regenerate, and that will allow you, and it allows me, to handle the stress and the mindset and those other aspects. I'm very active. I like to go to the gym. I like to work out, but I recognize that a whole lot of people do not enjoy those things. So I don't suggest that everyone needs to go to the gym, because that's not realistic and it's not likely to be implemented. But if you don't like it, but just being physically active, just moving, just going for a walk or a run or a bike ride or dancing or doing some exercises at home, doing something that's moving your body, really important for heart health, for bone density, for mood. I definitely notice an impact if I go through a period where I'm not as active. So that has been, for me, I think, a big difference maker as well. Nutrition. This one I get asked about a lot, not just from an MS perspective, but from just general health and vitality perspective. So I'm going to go through kind of what I eat and what I don't eat so much. First one, no one will ever argue, is eating a lot of vegetables, particularly green vegetables. Full of nutrients, full of fiber, very alkalizing to the blood, which is extremely important, and keeps you full as well from a satiety perspective. So I definitely really recommend, and I will always eat lots of vegetables. Fruit as well, not as much because of the high sugar content in some, but I definitely will incorporate fruit in. They have lots of antioxidants and nutrients as well. Another one that I want to talk about, and it's a little bit more difficult, but I really recommend when it comes to grains and those other types of carbohydrates in general, I really like to suggest, and I do it myself, is eating real food. So trying to eliminate a lot of the processed foods that have artificial things and whatnot in them. And one of the ways that I've done that is actually through eliminating wheat products, which is anything made with flour. Now, I made that decision many, many years ago, and I do feel that it has had a significant impact on my health. Wheat is very inflammatory, and you don't want to add that inflammation in your brain when you have a neurological like a condition. Inflammation in the body in general obviously can be very detrimental. So I do recommend avoiding wheat. It also has gluten in it. The protein in wheat is gluten, which has had some connection with neurological conditions. I know it's not realistic for everyone to just go tomorrow and eliminate wheat, so it's got to be a personal decision. For me, that's what I've done, and it has definitely helped. Also, by eliminating wheat, like I said, you would eliminate a lot of those artificial flavors, colors, preservatives, additives, trans fats, all those things that just have no place in our body. They're commonly in those wheat products, so you do get to kind of hit two birds with one stone by eliminating that. Another one is having adequate protein. So I definitely think it's extremely important. Your body needs those essential amino acids in protein. Your body doesn't make them. You need to consume them through your diet. And I am physically active, so I may require a little bit more amino acids for muscle recovery. But protein and those amino acids are so important for tissue repair and a lot of bodily functions. So I definitely recommend, for me, I do eat chicken and fish and eggs. I'll have some organic yogurt, not a lot of dairy products. And then I do have protein powder as well, a nice, clean, natural protein powder, which I'll throw in. I try to recommend having, and I try to, for myself, have protein basically at every meal and snack. It also keeps you full longer, so it's really helpful. Fat. So the topic of having fat in your diet, there has been over the years some big concern about eating fat. Your brain is 80% fat. So I have a condition that affects my brain. It's very important to me to get enough good, healthy fats in to feed the brain. So I do eat quite a large amount of fat per se, but I focus on natural, healthy fats. So avocados, nuts and seeds, olive oil, coconut oil. I do have high potency fish oil. All of these things I've done for many, many years. And I definitely feel that it's been very important to not only feeding the brain, but a lot of other bodily functions and reducing inflammation and all sorts of health benefits to having those healthy fats. The last one I want to mention is water from a nutritional perspective. I can't even describe, it's so important to have water. Our bodies are made up of such a high percentage of water. If we didn't have water, we would basically just stiffen right up and we wouldn't be able to move. It allows your body to absorb nutrients, eliminate toxins. It allows you to have joint mobility. It helps with hydration. It helps with energy levels. I drink a lot of water. I have for many, many years, and I definitely think it has a very important impact. We live in a country, we have such easy access to water, and we have so many people who are chronically dehydrated. So I definitely like to try to recommend for others and for myself to maintain that good, clean water intake. So the first one is omega-3 fish oils. I kind of briefly mentioned that earlier, but your brain is 80% fat. It has to be a high potency, purified, clean fish oil, which is what I've had since almost 11 years now, I guess. But having a high amount of DHA, that's the portion that's really helpful for brain health. I also have one that have the high EPA as well, which is good for heart health and other things. But the DHA is the part that really is the most important for the brain. So I highly, highly recommend that, and I've definitely done that in my life. So another supplement that I've been taking for a long time is vitamin D. And if you have MS, your doctor may have already recommended that to you. I personally take about 3,000 to 5,000 IU per day, but the daily recommended amount for an average individual is only about 1,000. So that's going to be an individual personal decision. Another one that I take is probiotics, and for me, I've used that it's basically a healthy flora for your gut. So I've been using that to help with digestion and things in my gut. Also, your immune system starts in your gut. So for me, it's very important, and if you have MS, you want to make sure you don't try to avoid getting sick and staying healthy. So for me, that's why I've been incorporating probiotics into my regime. Another supplement I take is magnesium. Magnesium really helps to relax the muscles. It can help to prevent headaches, potentially with muscle spasms, constipation. There's a lot of different health benefits that, or potential symptoms of magnesium deficiency. So I take it really to help with relaxing the muscles and those types of things. I usually take it in the evening. I also take a vitamin B complex, which is also often recommended and helps with if your body's under stress. I also take some herbal teas, so that's not necessarily considered a supplement, but I do have some green tea, lavender tea is relaxing, dandelion tea, very detoxifying. So I do like to have some of those herbal teas in. And for me, actually, from a detoxification perspective, I actually do an herbal cleanse usually once a year as well. So that's everything. I realize that there's a lot of information that I shared, and it can seem overwhelming or daunting. It took me time to implement all these things. It doesn't happen overnight. Usually just recommend starting with one thing that might seem right for you. These things really have made a very positive impact in my life, and I just hope that anyone with MS out there will be able to benefit from some of this information as well. Thank you.